is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Baby Gold, since we are in Chicago, it only makes sense that we do a video on some true crime, something like mob history, right? Everybody comes here and they always talk about Al Capone, and every time we come here, everybody's like, you gotta go do some Al Capone. At some point, we'll do something related to Al Capone, but today, we're gonna talk about John Dillinger, public enemy #1, where, more importantly, where he died. If you've seen the movie Public Enemy starring Johnny Depp as John Dillinger, then you know a little bit about the history, and more importantly, what you're looking at right now, the Biograph Theater. And right around the corner, actually right down here, we're gonna visit it in just a minute, is the alleyway where John Dillinger died. Now, a little bit of history about who John Dillinger was. Basically, he was a bank robber who, over the course of his crime career, if you want to call it that, robbed banks across the United States. And during this, both lawmen and citizens both died from stray bullets. I mean, I don't think he actually intended to kill anybody. He was all about the money. But of course, in the crossfire, it happens.
Dillinger brought to Chicago, recaptured after he had escaped from Lima, Ohio, taken to Crown Point, Indiana, the Lake County Jail to be tried for the murder of a policeman. This desperate public enemy now rises to fame as an underworld hero. Arrogant, that expression in his eyes. The welcome accorded to a vicious man-killer.
The most notorious criminal of the era is John Dillinger. Says one writer, Dillinger robbed banks, not people, and became to many a sort of Robin Hood of the Depression. His exploits fascinate America. He escapes from jails and machine guns his way out of FBI traps. And the public conveniently overlooks the fact that Dillinger is involved in the killing of some 20 people. Dillinger himself revels in his reputation as an American folk hero.
On the night of July 22nd, 1934, John Dillinger and a friend of his, a woman by the name of Anna Sage, who was also a brothel madam here in Chicago, went to go see a movie here at this theater called Manhattan Melodrama. Now, she tipped off the FBI that he was going to be here, and she told them that she was going to be wearing an orange dress, and that's how, they would be able to find them in the crowd.
When I learned he was Dillinger, I knew he had been killing without mercy. So I went to a policeman I knew, and he arranged a conference with the government agent. So July 22nd, I called Mr. Purvis, and I told him that Dillinger was going to a show. The government agent will follow us. When we came out, they tried to capture Dillinger, and he was killed. So I've done my part. Only thing I ask is what the government promised me, that I could stay here with my husband and son and not be deported to Romania.
In the event, her request to stay in America was denied. She just got $5,000 of the reward money from the FBI and lasting fame as the Lady in Red.
So about 10:40, after the movie ended, John Dillinger and Anna Sage walked out of this theater, and she got the nickname Lady in Red because supposedly the lights from the theater made her orange dress look red. But when they came out here, the FBI was waiting.
From what I can see, it looks like a very beautiful theater. And then it's still in use. That's always something that makes me happy.
Now, aside from his crime spree, Dillinger was actually caught quite a few different times, and he escaped quite a few different times.
Oh, that's right.
Towards the end of his life, he ended up moving here to Chicago, and he got a facelift to try to conceal his identity, to hide his identity. And it's also rumored that he took acid and he burned his fingertips off so people wouldn't, figure out who he was.
Right.
There's one more thing that I want to point out that is, I find very, very interesting. You know how like whenever you watch a lot of the mob movies, how you see the gangster or the bank robber hopping over the bank teller and he throws the bag? So Dillinger was known for being athletic when he was robbing banks, meaning that act of jumping over the desk, he did that. He's the one that inspired so many gangster movies.
This was how a contemporary newsreel described the ambush.
At about 10 o'clock, Dillinger walked out of the theater with his mouse, who were about to sell him to justice for a price. The federal agents were watching. Tensely and silently, they closed in about him. Suspicious and alert, Dillinger sensed that something was wrong. His hand flew to the gun hidden in his pocket. He was going to fight it out with the law. But a federal agent beat him to the draw and sent a bullet crashing through his skull to emerge beneath the right eye. In spite of the fatal shot, the Hoosier hoodlum ran into the alley, but fell with 2 more bullets searing into his body.
Now this is the sidewalk in the direction he would have been running. And he doesn't even get that far, just down to the alleyway, and he turns to escape.
Half a block, yeah.
And that's when they get him. Running from the FBI, he makes it down here to the corner of the building, to the alleyway. And he doesn't get that far. They open fire, he's hit, and he falls right about there. Now the picture that you're going to see that we're going to show you is not of him laying there, but after his body was removed, you can see the blood stain on the pavement. But this is it. This is the alleyway, the exact spot where Dillinger died. Pretty crazy, right? Now they got a couple different paintings and pictures and a quote here. I don't know if this is a quote. Yeah, it looks like a quote. What's it say? All my life I wanted to be a bank robber, carry a gun and wear a mask. Now that it's happened, I guess I'm just about the best bank robber they ever had, and I sure am happy. John Dillinger. Huh. I mean, some people just love their line of work. This mural's pretty freaking awesome. Look at this. Wanted, Public Enemy. And a picture of Dillinger himself. Now, I don't know if this is before or after his Chicago facelift. That's crazy. Baby girl, what are you doing over here?
Hiding.
You're hiding from what?
The breeze is cold.
It is cold.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Chicago wind catches you just right.
That little gust down the alley, it's a bit chilly. Bit chilly.
There was another photograph that was taken from right about here of the marquee, not too long after Dillinger died. Pretty wild, right? Notice how it says right underneath the word biograph, cold by refrigeration. Early AC, right? But pay close attention to the side of the marquee. It says Manhattan Melodrama starring Clark Gable and William Powell. That's the movie they were seeing. There are a couple other photos that were taken from right about here, further down the street. One of them appeared in a newspaper, and it has a drawing of the altercation between the cops and Dillinger right there to the right of your screen at the entrance to the alleyway. And the other one is an actual photograph of a bunch of bystanders standing at the alleyway, getting a look at where this famous gangster was killed, where he was gunned down. The Biograph Theater's to the left. And of course, the building that said National Food Store, it used to have a second floor, no more. Things definitely change around here. It happens. And with that being said, thank you for joining us on another grim adventure, this time in Chicago, telling the story of the death of Public Enemy #1, John Dillinger. Until next time, happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.